1-2 the count. Swing and miss. Alfarius has his second strike in the 2-2. Swung and there is strike 3 again.
Up to the left side, Alfarius comes over right at the railing. Whoa! And makes a great catch. He ended up in the first row. Alfarius ends the game with the defensive jam of the afternoon.
All right, well, here we are. K-Zone Podcast, Episode 1. Just decided last week we're going to kind of get into the podcasting a little bit. May upload to YouTube. Have some buddies on, tell some hunting stories, some sports stories. You don't know what we're going to get out of here, but
no, hopefully some good stuff at least. We'll see.
I think the main thing for this podcast is to have another source of stuff to put out. But you see in these videos that we put out, a lot of it's just 15 to 20 minute episodes of the hunts, and you kind of get a little breakdown of the befores, the afters. You see some of the hunts and the kill shots, but you never get to see some of the true personalities that we have on the hunts, or some of the cool stories that come from either preparing for the hunt or, stuff that happens after or during the hunt that doesn't make an episode. So we want to bring this out to where we're able to use it as kind of like an outlet.
There's plenty of stuff too that we wish we could put on the videos and say on the podcast, but it would not make it, and it would. It's just your typical stuff that you run into when you got a camp full of guys, but. I think this is really good because Josh is always behind the camera, and at least the past couple of years he has been, because he's the only one with very good video skills besides myself filming stuff. But this is a chance for him to kind of get in front of the camera, us just get on here and talk about who knows what.
But even for the guys in front of the camera, it's cool to get a perspective.
Yeah.
Just more of like a sit-down, casual perspective of either a hunt or a trip or, where they came from. And, I will say this, sports in general have really we've crossed paths with so many people from different states and different areas of the country that Florida to guys all over the Midwest, Texas, and we get together and hunt with them sometimes multiple times a year, sometimes just once a year. But, guys that we meet and guys we played ball with or get to hunt with, we want to bring them on here and kind of let them tell their story a little bit more.
Yeah. There's plenty of people like that, and I guess if we're going to do this, I'm Nate, and that's Josh. So now we get mixed up quite a bit. I get called Josh every single day, and I respond to both. So if you ever see me and you say Josh, I'll just go on like I'm Josh. I've had full conversations dating back to even high school of. Apparently, I played quarterback Friday night or something. I'm sitting there talking to some old man, and it was a good game. Or up at college, and a coach is yelling at me for something, and he thinks I'm Josh, and say yes, sir, and move on. But we get mixed up a little bit. We start to look alike at some points. But
that being said, for the intro, we're the owners of K-Zone. We do. The stories, we've been doing this since about 2015, but the story kind of goes back into college.
Yeah.
Where this whole thing started really out of our dorm. And we've had 3 or 4 buddies that helped us kind of get this thing going. And, really after college, we just kept it going. It's kind of one of those deals. It's like, as long as you continue to hunt and continue to put out content and continue to tell stories, it's endless.
And I think it kind of goes back to, it's a pretty cool story on how it started, just because I think we did it in one of our intro or off-season video a few years ago, just kind of telling the story. And it was, growing up, our family was always huge hunters. Our dad got us into it really early, and then me and Josh and even our little brother Cole were just always obsessed with hunting, and then we always loved the Outdoor Channel or just watching people hunt or watching, the Dream Bucks DVD that we had whenever we'd go on road trips.
Big bucks.
Yeah, or something like that. But that was just kind of like always our thing. We always had like an interest in the video aspect, and kind of just those guys that went out there and killed deer or killed ducks and went on these hunts, and you just kind of grow up watching that if you're a hunter. And whenever we got in college, I don't even know if it kind of started as a joke or kind of what it was. We just created an Instagram account and started posting stuff.
A lot of the stuff was filmed just off of our phones.
Yeah.
And then we decided, if we really want to kind of move forward with this, we've got to invest in some camera stuff.
Yeah, and it was kind of when I guess Instagram was pretty new, and you started to kind of see some of these old, like, I don't know, just hunting accounts or just accounts where people send in pictures and you get tagged to post their stuff. And that's kind of how we were. We'd do stories like people would send us 20 pictures in, and we'd put it on K-Zone. We'd be like, at whoever. And then that's just kind of how the game worked. And then,
well, social media back then in general was fresh.
Yeah.
And I felt like the way to grow was to like get other people involved too. So we spent, most of our growth early came from posting other people more than ourselves.
Yeah, and 100%. And like we said, it was in 2015. That's when me and Josh, and you can talk a little bit after this, but we both played college baseball, and we were both at the University of Arkansas at this time. And like you said, we were with a couple buddies, and we started this thing up, and we started an Instagram account. And I would say the main reason it blew up was like once we started posting kind of our own stuff with some type of quality to it, because there was nothing really back then. No one really had a nice camera, and we didn't necessarily have one either, but we posted some quality stuff. And then just with the kind of the baseball background and the University of Arkansas kind of attached to it, it was something that like people started putting those two together. And Josh, he was kind of an established guy up there by then, and he pitched in a lot of games and a lot of big games. And when you're pitching in front of 10,000 people start to hear your name, and then they see you on the Instagram, and it started gaining just a lot of traction really quick on us. And I'd say, I don't even know.
And you combine some of the Razorback stuff,
yeah,
with some insane hunts that we got to go on,
yeah,
and people were like, "Dang, like,
yeah,
they do pretty dang good."
And we didn't even know what it was going to be. We knew that we liked to do it. We didn't. I remember at that point we just had like GoPros, a handy cam, and
just kind of the
cell phones,
bottom of the barrel stuff that you can just get off the shelf at Best Buy.
Yeah, which is just the greatest starter pack ever because they're all just very easy to use, very easy to kind of lay together. And I remember when you kind of started, Josh really got into the editing and kind of upgrading cameras and stuff like that. And then that's when it really, really got good. And then I got into it. And then especially with the deer hunt stuff, I started self-filming deer hunts. And we started getting a little success out there doing it. And it was a huge learning curve because now we do not go to a deer stand or on a hunt without a couple cameras at least filming it or having it there for pictures or whatever. And yeah, that's kind of the background of how it started. I'll kind of let Josh tell his story of kind of just the baseball stuff because it plays just such a huge role into kind of how K-Zone began.
Well, that's where our name came from.
Yeah.
K-Zone, people always ask us that, like, what does K-Zone mean? How does that have anything to do with hunting?
Yeah.
And honestly, it has more to do with baseball.
100%,
K-Zone, like a strike zone, people were like, how does that tie in? And well, that, we just kind of came up with a name, thought it was kind of catchy, decided to just start that and start pushing it. And, it's kind of just began to, it's second nature at this point. It's like we never meant for it to really be a business. It just was just a platform.
It was.
Now, as you can see, we got apparel, we've got YouTube channel, sponsors. We do a ton of partnerships with I think 7 or 8 companies that we do marketing work for throughout duck season.
Yeah.
And so this thing, looking back in 2015 to where we're at now, it's crazy just to see how far it's come and all the people we've met along the way.
And I think that all ties back into is like when we started it, we didn't know kind of what we were going to do with it. And then we just kept it moving. And then all of a sudden we have tons of companies and tons of people that kind of want to work with us or feature their stuff on our page. And I remember there for a couple of years, we just took on everything. It was like, yeah, we'll do it, get content for product stuff. And we just took it all in. And then we would exhaust ourselves a little bit because we're sitting there working with 20, 25 companies just trying to get them pictures or whatever it was and kind of what it turned into. And I think we've narrowed it down to, 7 or 8 really quality companies that
product that we truly use and believe in.
That's the big thing is whenever we use it and we believe in it and I mean, it becomes easy at that point.
We want to. I mean, we want to know that the gear we're using and the products we're using is, I mean, like way beyond money. Like we're in it. We're in it for whether we were doing this as a business or not. Like we're going to be out there doing it all the same. We're going to still be filming and documenting. We're still going to be hunting. We're still going to be traveling the same places and as much as we do now. But being able to bring these partners along makes our life easy. I mean, we get some reliable partnerships. We get some quality gear. And I think it's a win-win for both ends.
And I think that's the main thing of why we do it is we're not going out there or going in here right now with like any type of plan of kind of what we want to do. We want to just be natural and just kind of document our hunts. And that's exactly how it started is we just wanted to film our stuff and we didn't care if people watched it. We didn't care if people liked it. It was just something that we always loved watching growing up, and then once we kind of started doing it, it's the same thing, you know. It's like I don't care if anyone ever watches me shoot a deer ever again, but I would love to have that when I'm 50 years old to go back and watch me shoot that buck or show my kids or show someone, and now it's on the internet forever, you know. And that's what's.
Don't get me wrong, I still like to pull the trigger on some ducks, but it's honestly more satisfying to me to go out with the camera and take pictures of dogs or people or film stuff that, you know, like you said, we've been doing this since 2015. So we look back at the footage from 2015, and that stuff would have been long forgotten if it wasn't for the film.
Yeah.
So,
and it's played such a huge part. And then just another thing is just like sometimes you go on these hunts or you have these experiences, and you're like, man, I just wish I could just capture that forever. And we really have. We've got to go on just some insane hunts just because of K-Zone and just kind of what it entails. And we've met so many great people and gone on so many awesome hunts that we never would have gotten to go to if we didn't have K-Zone or if it wasn't as big as it was or kind of as well known, I would say. But, I mean, we've traveled to Canada. We've gone to Oklahoma. We've gone to Texas. We've gone to Mississippi. Florida.
Utah.
Never in my life did I think I'd be standing over trying to kill an 11.5-foot gator, but last year,
there we
were, and then had to sell my liver to pay for the mount. But you know what? I got a beautiful 11-foot alligator mount as a coffee table that I'll have forever.
And you still hadn't seen it.
I haven't seen it yet. It's going to take
It's been
a squad to unload
6
that
or
sucker,
7 months. So
yeah,
we've got a shop, and whenever I killed my gator back on Okeechobee, I think it was 4 years ago, I was like, I may never kill an 11-foot gator again. And I bit the bullet and got a full-body mount, and it's on a piece of driftwood up in our shop at our farm.
Yeah.
And, you know, we killed a couple more since then. But last year, Nate got the opportunity to come down. They pulled another South Zone tag at Lake Okeechobee, and Nate was like, I mean, if we kill one, we'll just kind of see what we're working with. And may get him out, may not get him out. And sure enough, we killed like an 11.5 that just, I mean, the jaws in the circle was massive. You can watch the episode on our channel. And Nate ended up getting a full body mount, but it's a table. So we've got 22 feet worth of gators in our shop right now.
And I wish I could have got it on a piece of driftwood like Josh's, but it takes up an entire wall.
It's a 11.5-foot long piece of wood.
I mean, we got so many mounts in there now. We're going to run out of room. So I got a coffee table. I can't wait to see it. I think it's going to be pretty badass.
We're actually, I think the plan is like once season starts kind of getting in full swing, we're going to do some podcasts over there.
Yeah.
And we'll set up close to one of those tables, or we'll show you guys on one of the videos. But we got something up on the wall, something on the floor. And what's cool is like in Arkansas, I mean, we got some big gators in Arkansas, but we've never hunted in Arkansas. Mm-hmm. You go down to South Florida, and it's like friggin' Wild West down there. Everything can kill you.
It's
literally
insane. I don't know if I'll ever see a gator like that again, but it's just whenever you're pulling something up that's the size of your boat and you're hooked onto it, and he's just pulling you around wherever he wants to go, it's
where you're going.
Yeah, it's crazy. And I'm so thankful for that experience. Don't know if I'll ever get it again, but it's pretty crazy. And like he was talking about how we want to do a couple podcasts at the camp. I think what would be really good is we go over there. And we've had a farm over in East Arkansas now for, I don't know, almost 20 years probably. And it's produced some really quality deer, and I think it'd be really good to kind of set up the mounts and just talk about the stories behind them. Because I mean,
like a walkthrough type deal.
yeah, I mean, and what that farm is, you know, it's a good piece of property that it's just our families, and we get to go over there and kind of pick and choose what deer we want to grow and pick and choose which deer we want to harvest that year. And I love bow hunting, and I think that's probably my number one thing to do, even in front of duck hunting. Honestly, the rush you get from bow hunting just a large whitetail. And Arkansas is not known for deer hunting, but we've killed some really good deer.
And it goes back to the management stuff.
Yeah, and it's just so much fun to go over there and just have a piece of property that we can kind of fine tune ourselves and work on. And it takes a lot of effort, but I mean,
from planting the food plots to cutting, shooting lanes, hanging stands, managing everything. I mean, we've been over there just a couple times this year, and we're middle. Our season opens in 3 weeks. We've got a heck of a lot of work ahead of us. The next couple weeks, but once everything's in the ground, once the stands are ready, and once you've got your trail cams out and you kind of got that deer that you want to go after, kind of becomes addicting to where you want to spend every single day hunting that one deer.
When you want to leave Little Rock at Tuesday at 2:00 to go over there and try and deer hunt that afternoon, you're getting yelled at by your wife and whoever else, but it becomes an obsession. Me and him both have that problem, and I would say sometimes it is a problem, but kind of
it'll be all right.
Yeah, it'll be all right. Our work and what we do kind of allows us to have those opportunities, but I think we could have a heck of a year deer hunting. I think we're going to have, if everything kind of comes together, we could kill some really, really good deer. And
obviously hunting's still hunting, but like as far as the odds for this year compared to years past, like we've got a few really good bucks and a couple of different farms that have potential to be anywhere from 150 to 170 class, and then we have one or two that may
get up there.
But that's going to be on the DL until an arrow's in them.
And I think that's if you're a deer hunter, that is 100% your dream, is to have a chance to let an animal grow to that potential, or just have a chance to hunt an animal like that. And I don't know if I'll ever kill a 165-inch deer again. That is a really, really big deer here in Arkansas. Had the chance a couple years ago, and I'm at the point now I want to see what every single 4 and 5 year. I want to see their potential. Just let them get as big as possible. And then like last year when we had a 6-7 year old 8-point walk around 125 inches, kill him. Because I mean that's what you have to do on these farms. And having pieces of property like that, it's so much fun to manage. And we always let guys come in there and help us with doe management. It's because right now we have that farm set up just from past years. I mean, you got to think, since we've been in college, every single year we've hung a new set. Every single year we've kind of learned something new, and it's become like off-season work now. It's like once we get our plots in and we trim up whatever we need to trim up, it's pretty easy to just kind of go out there and hunt, just because we have so many options now, and we know these deer and their patterns and kind of where they like to be. And
our access points and like how much we need to be in and out.
And that was the main thing, is we used to just want to get over there and just kind of do everything. We wanted to plan everything. We wanted to hang stands, put cameras everywhere. And now we just know, and we know what works, and we know what time of the year we're going to have the best chance to kill these deer. That's why, like, early in the season,
we don't typically morning hunt.
We don't morning hunt until like
unless
a cold
there's a
front.
cold snap.
And that's such a huge thing. Is like now. I used to love going out there opening morning, and I'd get out there and get bit by 100 mosquitoes, and 30 minutes go by. I'm like, all right, I'm going home. But now, I mean, I know that there's 2 weeks in November 1st through like the 14th to 15th. That's going to be your best chance to kill a deer, and it's happened past 3 years for me. So we kind of got that nailed down.
My date's kind of like November 6th. There's something about where I hunt that November 6th is kind of the time. And, I killed one last year, October the 11th, I think, or 12th. And he's a pretty good buck, but it was way earlier than I thought. I mean, I was hunting just to be hunting. We had some good movement, but I don't want to get off on a whitetail tangent. I mean, we're going to kind of...
We did a little bit, but
I mean... loop back on a different podcast with the whitetail.
Yeah.
But let's get back into some of the introduction stuff, like talk about maybe the baseball, the paths we took with baseball, and kind of I mean, we're 19, 20 minutes in.
You go first because mine's going to take 19 or 20 minutes to tell my whole story.
All right, so went to Little Rock Christian here in Central Arkansas for high school. Got the opportunity to walk on with the Arkansas Razorbacks. And that was in end of 2012. So 2013, and went there as an infielder, shortstop, third baseman, and fought like heck to stay on the team. I mean, we had a really good infield and really good pitching staff. And that year that I got to the program, we were actually preseason ranked number 1 in the country. And so there's 56 guys in that locker room, and they were cutting the roster to 35. So, I was just fighting, doing what I could every day, working hard to just make the roster. Ended up making it. Redshirted my first year, transitioned to a pitcher my sophomore year. Long story short, got to go to the College World Series with them in 2015. Had some really good runs in some super regionals and some regionals. Got drafted by the Miami Marlins after college. Got to go play some short season ball with them up in New York. Spent about a year and a half with them. Played a little short season ball in Chicago. And then K-Zone kind of became full-time after that.
Yeah.
Back in Little Rock now full-time, and we do most of our hunt in East Arkansas. But this is kind of, we wanted to say that to kind of get into the point where I met a ton of people along the way. I mean, guys that still hunt with me today, like my college roommate Garrett Rucker, a.k.a. Slick Willie.
Slick Wilson.
A.k.a. Director of Photography. Blaine Knight, he was my roommate on the road. Most of you guys know him just from his success he had with the Hogs, played some pro ball with the Orioles. He'll be on one of these podcasts, probably this next couple.
BZ Nation brought to you by Mountain Dew.
That's right. Blake Anderson, he was my roommate in pro ball. Got the opportunity to room with him. He was a first rounder. Blake, if you're watching this, don't want to get your head too big, but Blake was a good roommate, and actually, knowing Blake, I got to meet 2 or 3 other guys down there that led me into some good connections for turkey hunting and duck hunting, and Taylor Braley, guys like that. And this is kind of the point down in Florida where I want to make the Dustin connection, because if you guys watch a lot of our episodes, I mean, I think Dustin has been in 7 or 8 episodes here in the last 5 years. Dustin, Robbie Chance, and Otis. I mean, those guys down in Florida have worked their tail off to help us out. But I met Dustin at Gander Mountain. I told this story on our Okeechobee episode, but me and Blake were doing some shopping down at Gander Mountain, bought a bunch of shotgun shells, bought a bunch of just random hunting gear. And Gander Mountain was actually going out of business. They were having a big clearance sale, and Dustin was the cashier. And Dustin was like, dude, y'all, we're gonna cut you a deal here, and y'all get on out of here. And so we ended up talking to Dustin for a little while, and he dropped us some fishing spots, and we kind of kept that connection over the off season. Well, going into I believe it was 2018 or 2019, I can't remember, but Dustin brought his crew up. It was Dustin, Robbie, and Otis. They came up to Arkansas, hunted some ducks with us, and then that's who we gator hunted with. Yep. We got the chance to hunt with them. I've hunted with them 4 times, turkey hunting and gator hunting. Nate's hunted with them once, and they've come to Arkansas the last 3 or 4 years. But long story short, baseball's brought us so many connections. And
it's honestly, it's probably the reason that this is what it is, and just kind of how big we got off the get-go. That's pretty easy to credit it to, just because how big just Arkansas baseball is in general, and then once we kind of started putting some quality stuff out, companies wanted to work with us after college, and it just kind of started making its way. I guess on my story, I don't know, do we got time for this one?
We got time. Just breeze
Give them the
breeze through your 4 different colleges you played ball at. Go ahead.
Well, I guess the first thing is I'm 2 years younger than Josh. I had the luxury of watching him go through recruiting before I had to go through it, and I learned so much stuff, and he kind of got the name out there, and kind of once I started playing well, and I was a good player, and started getting recruited pretty good my junior year. Had quite a few offers and blew my knee out playing football. And my senior year, got every single baseball offer pulled besides one, and that is in Jackson State, Tennessee. Go Generals. So I had to go I went to Jackson State Community College for 1 year. Had a good year, and I knew the Arkansas coaches really well, and I think I just kind of had to go there and kind of prove that I was healthy enough to play and kind of got back on my feet. Had a good year there. Ended up getting to Arkansas. I guess it would have been 2015. Went there as an infielder just like Josh did, and hitting at the SEC level is, it's not for everyone. Certainly was not for me.
Difficult.
It's very, very hard. The guys throw very hard. Your 85-mile-an-hour sliders are no fun. You have to face Blaine Knights and inter squads, Trevor Steffen, who's in the big leagues. And, I mean, it's a handful. But anyways, I had a red shirt. They had a really good infield that year anyway, and I had some bone spurs in my elbow. I had to get taken out. And then come back the next year and convert to a pitcher. And had a really good fall.
Led the team, or was one of the top 2 guys in ERA in the fall, I believe.
Yeah, and I pitched really well, and I was kind of in the same boat Josh was in. I was a walk-on that year, and I really needed to – you just got to do everything you can to make a ball team. And I was 6 months post-surgery showing up there in the fall, and I didn't have my velo back. I didn't have anything, and I got up there and just – I think that was something that was really good with me and Josh is we weren't always the best necessarily, but we loved to compete, and that's kind of what I think carried us as far as it did. And anyways, had a really good fall. Go home that fall break for Christmas, and about a week before school starts, I get a phone call saying that they've had a couple injuries and they need to put 2 more guys on the roster, and I'm scrambling. I thought I was about to play for the Arkansas Razorbacks. Dream come true. As just an Arkansas kid, it's what you want to do. Play with Josh for his senior year, and ended up I couldn't do it just because I just set out the year before and I needed to go play.
And this was before the transfer portal was. You switch over and get to play. You have to sit out a year, I think, if you were to go D1, D1.
And it was a tough spot. It wasn't like an end of the year deal. If you go D1, at that point, you had to sit out a year. You could have gone D1 to junior college, been fine, D1, D2, but I knew I wanted to play Division I, and ended up calling Travis Lolleman, Coach Lolly, over at Crowder Junior College, about an hour north of Fayetteville. And
what do they got? What do they trademark for? What do they trademark?
They're trademarked for the last Quiznos subs in the world.
That's crucial
and
information.
I'm an absolute sucker for Quiznos subs. If there's one meal I could eat the rest of my life, honey mustard chicken.
If I'm coming out of high school and I'm on my official visit at Crowder,
this is what Crowder offers.
And they tell me you have a Quiznos, I'm a Rough Rider.
Yeah, they have.
I'm there.
They have a hell of a baseball program. They have a Quiznos subs, and they have a casino 15 minutes down the road.
That's about it.
And what else do you need when you are a 20-year-old kid? But anyway, go to Crowder Junior College. I get there, and it was a low point for me. You leave the SEC, you leave one of the best program and facilities in the country, I'd say, especially at that point. And I'm there at Crowder, and early spring in Neosho, Missouri is no fun for anyone.
A little chilly.
It's freezing ass cold, and I mean, when it's wet outside, you can't go to the indoor like you did at Arkansas. You had to go to left field and practice bunt defenses, and you're a pitcher, and it's 25 degrees with a 40-mile-an-hour crosswind, and you're just like, what in the
Go hit squishy balls in the parking lot.
Get some wiffle balls out there, get your work in. Then you get to go play ball at the YMCA up the road. But ended up really working out. I met some of my best friends there. Really wouldn't trade any of that for anything, just because junior college, I mean, you find out real quick if you love baseball or not. And I got to go through it twice, and baseball is everything to me. So ended up working out. We had a heck of a team. Went to the Junior College World Series. We had a bunch of guys on that team get drafted. A bunch of us went on to D1 schools. I ended up going to Arkansas State after that, and I finished up my 2 years there. And that was, at that point, I had some offers. Could have gone back to Arkansas or, kind of gone on to some bigger schools, but I really wanted to play, and I knew if I went to Arkansas State, I'd have a chance to pitch a lot, and that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a starter.
About an hour from Hunting.
I was an hour away from that farm, and that was a problem. Let me tell you, that was an absolute. Okay, if you're going to go to college, let's just get this out here. You got you got to plan your way to be in there for 5 years, right? Whether you're good and you can play your freshman year, or if you're just a student in general, 5 years minimum.
I would have killed to have been a COVID 6 year.
Oh my! I missed it by 1 year.
Get to play 6 years and get spoiled rotten.
So this is when you're at Arkansas State and you're an hour away from just some of the prime time duck hunting, deer hunting this world has to offer. You just schedule all online classes, and that's exactly what I did. There was one time I went down there and I shot a deer on an afternoon, and the next morning I go back down there and I still can't find this deer, and I called my coach at lunch and I was like, "Hey, Coach Hardy, I'm out here looking for this deer, and I know we got a meeting in 2 hours, but I'm not gonna be able to make it." He pushed that meeting back so I could go track that deer, and we found that freaking thing and made it back.
That's incredible.
But yeah, loved Arkansas State. Go Red Wolves. Ended up blowing out my elbow
Again.
But
Little Tommy Johnson.
I made it through my senior year. Had Tommy John. Had labrum surgery. Didn't get to play pro ball, which was something I really wanted to do. But when scouts find out your elbow's made out of toilet paper and freaking
Paper mache.
Yeah. They don't give you that option. So moved back here, had a couple surgeries, and I did look into going and playing some indie ball or some overseas ball or just continue playing. But then COVID hit, and I found the golf course, and
Still on
the golf course 4 or 5 years later. And that's my new competitive edge now. So, long story short,
got to see some country. Got to play some ball.
I got to play some ball, and I made a lot of friends.
Made a lot of friends.
A lot of different places.
And that goes back to our story. Just so many people we ran across.
We didn't even mention summer ball.
So
that's a totally different story.
We're not talking about summer ball. We're already 31 minutes in.
We probably need to wrap.
We're gonna wrap this up. But anyways, we just wanted to intro this podcast. I think it's going to be something that's really cool. We got some big things coming on the agenda. We're going to Canada October the 11th.
Yep.
We'll be there for a week. Probably going to try to rip a podcast up there. Get Kevin on the mic. Kevin and Timmy Hose, boys.
Timmy Hose or Boston Pizza set up a little podcast and set up in Alberta, Canada.
Yeah. So, anyways, we just we're gonna be filming episodes more than ever this year, but we just wanted to bring this outlet along. We're gonna probably just mainly run it on YouTube.
Yeah, 100%.
I don't know about you guys that are watching, but when I watch podcasts, I like to watch them more than just listen to them. But we're going to try to film it, whether we're on the porch at our farm or if we're in the living room somewhere here at the office. We're going to try to just I don't know if we're going to do it weekly, every other week, maybe once a month. There's no schedule for this.
No.
We're just going to kind of run it, and if we run into multiple guys, just film it, cut it up, put it on YouTube. So
there's a lot of options, I feel like, for us. It's just we know some guys that I think people would love to hear from, and maybe they'll come on here. Who knows?
I bet they'd be willing to. But we're gonna wrap this thing up. If you guys enjoy this, just be sure to subscribe, hit that thumbs up, the whole thing for YouTube, and we're looking forward to this year. We're gonna be uploading stuff daily and hopefully weekly episodes. So I guess we'll see you guys on the next one.
Yeah, Bills money line, Monday Night Football. Here we
go.
Yeah,
give us one. Give us a.
We're gonna do.
This may turn into a gambling podcast more than a baseball podcast. This guy's got an issue.
You reach a bigger crowd when you talk about sports gambling now.
We had a great podcast.
We had a great 3-week run. Tables are bound to turn, but we're all over Bills money line tonight. It's 9/11. I know it's in New York City.
Monday Night Football.
And we're gonna go Bills money line. Or -2, whatever they are.
Is it a lock? Bet the mortgage on it?
I want to say it's a lock, but weird things happen in New Jersey on a Monday night on 9/11. Who knows? Jets could pull it off, but Bills are a good football team. Josh Allen.
Yep. All right, you heard it here first. See you guys on the next one. Appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
That will do it. And that's the ball game.
And that's the most unexpected hunt I think I've ever had.